Kia ora whānau, welcome to another online tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about monohybrid crosses or Punnet squares, as you may have heard them referred to. Okay. So the question we have here is an old one taken from 2012, but the ideas are still relevant, very similar to the questions that are asked in the last few years. So, patterns of inheritance, 2012, question 2. A blood disorder caused by red blood cells with an unusual curved sickle shape is inherited through a single gene with two possible alleles, normal, as you can see on our left, and sickle, as you can see on our right. We use H to represent the dominant allele, capital H, and lowercase h to represent the recessive or sickle allele. In our answer for A, we're going to explain how two parents with normal blood cells can have a child with sickle-shaped blood cells. In our answer, we should, and when they say you should, we will, state the genotype of the child with the sickle cell blood cells, state the genotype of both normal parents, and draw a Punnet square to show how two normal parents can produce a child with sickle-shaped blood cells. Okay. We won't touch on B now, we'll talk about that in a moment, but let's get to it. Now, in this tutorial, I'm not going to write down my answer word for word. If you want a model answer, you can look one of those up. They're online. I'm going to be explaining my thoughts as I go through and noting down any key points or interesting ideas. Cool. Let's get to it. So, for A, it asks us first to state the genotype of the child with the sickle-shaped blood cells. So we look here, and it's told us that, and I want to mark this down, our uppercase H is our normal allele, which is our dominant. Our lowercase h is our sickle-shaped, which is our recessive. Cool. So, thinking about it, we know that to express the recessive phenotype, or the physical expression of that genotype, you can only have the recessive alleles present. So we know that the child, or the genotype of child, only contains our little h, our recessive, okay? In its other words is homozygous recessive. Okay, only has the one recessive gene present. Now, it wants us to talk about the genotypes of both parents. We know that the child has to have the recessive genotype, okay, or only the recessive genes present, otherwise it wouldn't have sickle-shaped cells. Okay, so we know that they have to inherit this from parents. These cells or these genes didn't just come from anywhere. Okay, so they must have that gene present. Okay, so for them to both have the normal shaped cells, we know that they have the normal gene present, but to pass on the recessive, we know that they also have to have our recessive gene present. Okay, so they've got both. They've got a capital H and a lowercase h. So we know parents equal heterozygous, capital H, lowercase h. Okay. Okay, they've got both. They've got an uppercase, or the dominant, so they express the normal shaped blood cell, but they have the recessive, which they've passed on to their child. And we know that because otherwise, where did the child get the gene from? All right. So that's the first 2 points for part A. The third point, it's asking us to draw a Punnet square to show how two normal parents can produce a child with sickle-shaped blood cells. So we're going to get into that. Okay. Now, we're just going to draw the two parental genotypes, which is here. Okay. We're going to whip up a quick Punnet square. And again, it's a bit messy. My apologies. I'm going to place in their respective alleles. I'm going to start with our dominant alleles and mark them off. Then I'm going to go through and finish off with our recessives. Okay. Remembering that each square is a 25% chance of occurrence. All right. So we can see that two parents who are heterozygous can produce, or have a 25% chance to produce a child that is homozygous recessive or would have the sickle-shaped blood cells? Okay, so that's A, done and dusted. Now, we're going to look at B. The parents in Part A have 4 children, all with sickle-shaped blood cells, and they're expecting a 5th child. Explain how normal parents could have produced 4 children with sickle-shaped blood cells, and you should refer to your Punnet square from A, and explain what the chances are of the 5th child having sickle-shaped blood cells. So we have our same parents. We're taking all the information from here into the second part of our question for B. Okay. Now, we know from this, and we're going to have a look, the chance of homozygous dominant equals 25%. The chance of heterozygous like themselves is 2 boxes, so it's 50%. And the chance of homozygous recessive, 25%. Okay. So, it says the parents have had 4 children, all with the sickle cell. Okay. How is this possible? Well, it is only a 25% chance. It doesn't mean that 25% of the offspring will have it. So each child, okay, has these probabilities, independent of the other children. If you have 4 children, you're not going to get all 4 of these opportunities, or all 4 of these genotypes, sorry. Okay? Each child, figuratively, rolls the dice on which genotype or genes they'll receive from their parents. Okay? So each child has a 25% chance of being sickle-celled. All right? The 4 children previously have all received the sickle cell. All right? Now, the 5th child will again have the same odds as before. Okay? So there is a 25% chance that a 5th child will also have sickle cell, because it's independent of the previous children. Okay? Now, often in questions like this, you don't usually ask it when it's referring to humans, but often if you've got rabbits, etc. in your question, they might ask how you can be sure, or how might you get odds more similar like that proposed in the Punnet square. And the answer for that one is always breed more, and the more offspring produced, the closer it will be to the probability. But for small numbers, for small sections of offspring, okay, you can have really wild results. You could have 10 children, all with sickle cell, for example. It's unlikely, but it can happen, because it's probability, not certainty. Okay. Hopefully this has been helpful, team. Hopefully it helps you to get out there, get into some relevant questions. Again, use this as a template or a guide to help you answer some relevant questions. Check those questions with some model answers. Fill in any blanks that you've missed. I would recommend doing so on a different coloured pen. That way you know what areas of your knowledge were lacking or missing at this point in time. Get out there, team. Get into it and have a lovely day.